Finally! I freaking finished it! How long has it taken me? Oh, I think it was spring last year. Okay. Hi, Shell. And hello to all you other wonderful weirdos watching. So, I have finally finished City of Illusion, the third and final book in this story, in this book. Oh boy. I will quickly rank them at the end, so if you're curious to see how they compare against each other, do stick around for that. But let's just talk about City of Illusions. Cause oh my god. Just this font alone has provided me with such an annoying dyslexic issue. And I don't think it's just dyslexia, because the font is also drying my eyes out, which weirdly does happen. Sometimes fonts don't do that, sometimes fonts do, and when my eyes dry out, I start nodding off. I mean, Books of Blood is like that, when the font dries my eyes out for some reason, don't know why. And so I've had to buy reading glasses just to try and get through this without my eyes drying out. And on top of that, the font's dyslexic not friendly. Wait, not dyslexic friendly. Correct. There we go. Which means I keep losing my place, rereading the same section over and over again without realizing that I'm supposed to, that where the next bit is, because it's just so close together. I even handed it to a friend at work and she was just like, whoa, this font is not the best. So not only do I have issues with just this copy, another person also was just like, yeah, no, the font in this is pretty shit. So finally, it's over. It's over. I can move on to other Ursula K. Le Guin books that do not have this font. Because normally it does take me a little while to read a story and click with, I can't click right now, and click with an author's writing style. Because I was struggling so much, I wouldn't go back to it. I wasn't wanting to pick it up. I wasn't invested enough to keep reading at the level where I would click with the author's writing style, and so I'm still unable to connect with Ursula K. Le Guin's writing yet. I do have other books, hopefully the font's better, that I can do that, and hopefully I'll enjoy better fonts. There is a publisher who is publishing dyslexic friendly text, and if they do publish some Ursula K. Le Guin, I will probably buy it from that, just because I've struggled so much and it's interrupted my enjoyment with this book so much. So, but I'm going to try and not let that interfere with my review, because the stories themselves have been enjoyable in one way or another. This is the story where I have a bone to pick, though. So, City of Illusions, it takes ages before we actually get to the city, but we'll get to that. So, we are following Falk. F-A-L-K. I'm trying to figure out how you say that. I've not actually spoken it out loud yet, but Falk. Bloody hell, this is another dyslexic trip up. Anyways, the name means yellow in the language of the people who have taken him in. And he is called that because his eyes, the whites of his eyes are yellow, not white. His eyes are very different, hence the name Falk, meaning yellow. So Falk emerges with no memory. He just knows the forest, the scraping. He's on all fours until he learns that he can put his weight on his legs and stumbles into a clearing, and he meets Path and her family, who take him in. This stranger who they have no idea why his eyes are yellow, where he came from. Is he Xing? Because there's also that question of who are the Xing that is immediately introduced to us. And so this whole story is on Earth. So we've got Rocannons World that mentions Earth with the League of Worlds, and then we've got Planet of Exile, which is a long time after Rocannons World, because we get the mind speech, the telepathic abilities, where they can communicate non-verbally through mind. And there's an interesting law that you cannot beseech somebody falsely. You can only be truthful. And then at the end of Rocannons World, there's an introduction to a threat. And in Planet of Exile, it's mentioned, but that's not the story. It's kind of like there's this group of people that were fleeing some kind of fight, crash land on this planet, and they're waiting to see if the League have maybe won the war against the threat. And now we are on Earth, where we hear that the people who are that threat are on Earth, and the League have been dissolved. The League of Worlds, the United Federation of Planets, has been dissolved. So, and the Xing have given Earth rules. You cannot develop, basically, any technology whatsoever. Kind of gets met with force and they will interfere just to undermine what your technological advancements are doing, because they have pushed Earth back so far into technological advancement that there's tribes of people that cannot use basic technology. Instead, the most advanced weaponry are laser guns, but there's no cars. There's something called a slider, and that is where my brain could not figure out what this thing is. But it gets you from A to B, and yeah. Falk spends some time in this house. He spends 5 years there, just being with this family, and then suddenly the head of the household is just like, just go find where you're from, get your answers, damn it. And he's just very reluctant to leave, but he eventually does. And I have to say, Path has such a badass response, but also kind of okay, maybe a little overreacting as well. But Falk asks her to wait for him to get back, and she's just like, no, absolutely not, no. But I'll wear black, and I will basically be in mourning, and I will not ever be with another. And it's just like, okay, that's a slight overreaction, but yeah, go on. Don't wait for him to come back, obviously, yeah. But it's just like, it's just that extra bit was just like, oh, damn it, well, could have just left it at no. We get a nice little travel sequence of seeing the world. However, I kind of felt disconnected, whether it's to do with how long it's taken me to read the book, and it's just like, I feel disconnected because I put it down for so long and didn't want to go back to it because of the aforementioned struggle I was having with the text. I don't know if that was the reason why I felt disconnected with the world, or the world felt disconnected. I'm not quite sure. But I will say, the Born I have to pick is introduced in the middle bit. His travel bit and So I'm going to talk about Estral, because I think it gets a bit worse when they finally get to the City of Illusion. Oh my good grief, Estral. I'm not happy. I am not happy with Estral. Basically, Falk is in this tribe where women are property, sex objects to the men. Estral is a red-headed woman who is the only person with medical knowledge enough to tend to Falk's wounds that he had, because it kind of temporarily blinded him, and so she's kind of been his carer. He does get his sight back during his time and stay and learning about the tribe he is with, learning about their ways and customs towards women. And Falk is an idiot. Such an idiot. Right, so one of the people comes into his tent and is just like, do you want the red woman? Do you want her tonight? And he's literally like going, no, not really. They are planning their escape and you're so dumb that when Estral leaves, you realize that she's the red woman, and how am I supposed to like Falk if he's an idiot by not realizing that Estral is the red woman he was going on about, and you need her to plan an escape because you were literally like is going to escape together. So Falk's a dumbass. He is a complete dumbass. Anyways, so they do escape, but another anyways, they are in a bunker when we get the most egregious thing that made me hard DNF this story. And I cannot believe Ursula K. Guin wrote this little section. But Estral walks over to Falk and he's just like, he won't sleep with her, but she's now making a move on him and he can't resist. And then proceeds to describe Estral as a passive woman who will just lie there and let him do whatever. And he gets to be violent in a way he could not be with Path. I'm sorry, but maybe just think about the fact that that woman has just been through being treated like property after being captured by these people, and now you're being sexually violent. We don't get what that means, other like if he was just a bit rough or whatever, but that was very frustrating. I was so pissed off. I definitely put it down for a few days. Like, so, yeah. So, yeah, that nearly made me DNF, but I tried to keep going because I was invested in wanting to see the City of Illusion. I wanted to see what happened in the timeline. I was too curious about everything that was not Falk. So yeah, I continued on with it. There was an interesting thing that Estral was just like trying to keep him away from other people, and eventually he did end up in a very welcoming town that had a conversation with the leader of said town, and ignored everybody's warnings. Don't trust Estral. And again, I think there was a bit of backtracking on trying to make Estral bad, because when they anyways, when they do get to the city, it is very beautifully described. It is very bizarre on how it works, and I loved the deceit potential, and you are constantly guessing, like, what is going on here? Are they being truthful? Are they actually trying to mess with him? Because if they are messing with him, it makes perfect sense this entire time, because Estrel's been talking to them the whole time with that bloody amulet that she's praying to. Because, oh boy, their story sounds complete and utter bull. Just bull. Absolute. Yeah. So he has no idea if he's talking to Xing or because he's been getting everybody's accounts as he's traveling to the city, and then he finally meets the Xing, or the Xing. The explanations Falk has been getting, and then there's that lovely little, to get your memory back, we have to erase you again to bring forth your older memories. And it's just like, that is a ploy, that sounds like a ploy. Yeah, it's very, very cleverly done, and I do love the tiptoeing Falk has to do around these people. It's incredibly done. I did enjoy it. It was very trippy, especially the fact there's no solid walls. It's all like slightly transparent, just cloudy, and you can see everybody through it. The ending was a bit less anticlimactic, but I still understand it. And I love the connection to Planet of Exile, because it came up again. Oh wow, I absolutely adored it. And oh my god, Ori was a complete idiot as well. But that was intended, because when you are raised from being 9 and you're 15 and you're on drugs because they've been keeping you docile all this time, you're gonna believe the people who have been helping you. And it's oh my god, Ori is insufferable, but it's purposefully done. You are supposed to be frustrated with him because he is a child, and he has been like, you can't figure out what's real, because even a 9-year-old can be coerced and manipulated into believing that truth, that lies are truth. But yeah, and then we're just learning everything, and it's really interesting, really well done. And yeah, as frustrating as my read has been, I did enjoy the city itself. I just wish everything else was put like just So yeah, there was some good, there was some bad, there was some very annoying moments that would have made me throw a book against the wall. I think I was at work, which is why I didn't. So oh well. So yeah, that was City of Illusion. Thank God it's over. Thank the gods it's over. Yeah. Okay, so ranking wise, this is my least favorite. This is my least favorite. Oh my god, it is definitely 100% my least favorite. I think I just cannot get over the Estral thing, especially when they got to the city, and I kind of, even then, it's just, I don't think what they did with Estral was undone by what happened. I think it was just the wording Ursula used. The way he could be violent to Estral that he couldn't be with Path just ruined it. It just ruined it. I just could not. Falk is a flawed protagonist, which I would not mind if that was not in there. Just yikes. Because, ugh. But I did enjoy the tiptoeing. I highlighted an entire paragraph of amazing text. Hope is a slighter, tougher thing even than trust, he thought, pacing his room as the soundless, vague lighting flashed overhead. In a good season, one trusts life. In a bad season, one only hopes. But they are of the same essence. They are the mind's indispensable relationship with other minds, with the world, and with time. Without trust, a man lives, but not a human life. Without hope, he dies. When there is no relationship, where hands do not touch, emotion atrophies in void and intelligence goes sterile and obsessed. Between men, the only link left is that of owner to slave or murderer to victim. Laws are made against the impulse a people most fears in itself. Do not kill was the Shing's vaunted single law. All else was permitted, which meant, perhaps, there was little else they really wanted to do. Fearing their own profound attraction towards death, they preached reverence for life, fooling themselves at last with their own lie. Absolutely phenomenal writing. So yeah, there was some brilliant lines when I finally got to them, and when I finally was in like a flow state without the struggle. So yeah, I did get to enjoy some of Ursula's writing eventually. But my god, I cannot with the font. Or could I with What Happened with Astral? Just, I think my ranking is in the last place, in third and last place is Planet of City of Illusion. Then it's like Planet of Exile, and then it's Rocannons World. So I literally just started with peak and got worse as it went. But as like instances in the Hainish Cycle, it is an overall arching narrative, quite intriguing, and I do want to continue on, but I'm having a break. The font killed me. I just need... Yeah. So that was my introduction to Ursula K. Le Guin's writing. Finally got to the end of Worlds of Exile and Illusion. Oh boy, that was quite the challenge, but I got through the font. I don't remember having difficulty with Douglas Adams' sci-fi masterworks. That's why the Douglas Adams one, Life Universe and everything, has a completely different font. So yeah, I'm hoping that the font changes, because yikes. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on City of Illusions. Oh boy. Oh well. And it is why I've not been able to read anything else in January, because I've been trying to prioritize that one. It would have taken me longer if I didn't. Oh, bloody hell. But yeah. Bye, Shal. Bye to all you other wonderful weirdos watching.